think I'm live. Oh, there we go. I think I'm live now. Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Tamlin here. And, I should have my name and the Chiron. I didn't have that fixed today. No worries. Um, uh, uh, Jocelyn, my amazing person who makes things happen in my tech world, is going to make sure we're live. And now I'm going to go live in. Just going to go over to Instagram. Hang on, everybody, while I go there for a second. Here we go. Okay, now I'm live in Instagram and on various platforms in Facebook. So, alrighty. So let me actually have to do one more techie thing. Hang on here. Sorry, everybody. Let me just make sure this window is open that I can see. There we go. Okay. So, okay, happy, what is today? Wednesday, January 15th. I am on the back end of a bit of a cold. Maybe you hear it in my amazingly nasally voice today. So, I'm going to be brief today. First of all, a incredible shout out to the remarkable volume of support that has been pouring into Southern California. Many of you know I used to live in LA proper and now live out in the desert. But the news last night was, not about the actual fires that are still going on, but the news had shifted as the winds had shifted and died down as well. The news has shifted over into the remarkable support, the tens of hundreds of thousands of items and the money that's been pouring in, and it's just been a remarkable response, of course, from people who deeply care. I mean, this is the best of humanity shows up from these tragedies, right? And of course, there's all kinds of little moments of where the best of humanity doesn't show up. Not going to focus on that today, because today's topic is what we focus on expands, right? So that's what I want to talk about here. So again, let me just make sure this is actually going through. I'm just going to check with Jocelyn. Okay. It says it should be. Hang on, Jocelyn. I'm just going to make sure. It says I'm not on. Not on. I should be on Instagram. It should be there. Yeah, I think I'm there. It says I'm live, Joss. So I don't know. And I think. One of my amazing clients, Lisa Dare, is watching, I think, right now as we speak. So anyway, just going to keep going here. Technology, everybody, right? Oh my gosh. So here we go. Really briefly this morning, an oldie but goodie. Yep. Yeah. Lisa just said, morning, Rick. So I just saw that in the comments. Yay, the tech is working. So what we focus on expands. So, that is a metaphysical concept. It is a human concept. We all know this idea that, we are, yeah, Jocelyn says now it's working. Okay. This is an oldie but goodie, right? And I remember many, many, many years ago, one of my very first mentor coaches, right, was probably in my 20s. And I'd hired this person to, talk about my life, and it wasn't therapeutic. It wasn't therapy, but it sort of had this therapeutic context to it. And I could talk about myself and what do I want, and I was talking about my relationship life, and I was talking about my career life and my acting career all at the time. I won't go into the details, but life, the wheel of life stuff, right? And on this particular call, man, it was just one big, gigantic complaint after the next, right? I mean, it was just one of those dark calls. And he was very spacious and very considering and, respectful, that's the word, of what I had to say and what was going on, and understood. And it was very compassionate, right? And I don't know, about 20 minutes in, he literally he stopped the action, which, sidebar moment, I need somebody to come in my life. I don't know about you, but I need somebody to come in and stop the action, stop the philosophy, stop the thinking, stop the way of being, the way I'm doing it, because I just do it. I don't even notice it. So a great coach comes in and sort of breaks the pattern of the thinking and the speaking and the being and the way of doing and like team coaches are good at that. The way you're hitting the ball isn't working. A good coach, this is actually a little sidebar. I realize I want to speak to this, what really good coaching is. Really good coaching comes in and sort of breaks the pattern of how things are going, because usually how it's going isn't working, or isn't at the level that I want to live at, or isn't the life I'm having, or all the gaps of all the stuff we want to close. And there's a million topics inside that, right? There's money, there's life, there's relationships, there's your home, there's so this particular call, he comes in, he just about I probably a 45-minute call. I don't remember. This was years and years ago. He just kind of does the standard, stop, right? So stop the action, stop the, hello, somebody's from Coleman Coaching. You're welcome. There you go. So yeah, people are moving over to Instagram. By the way, Instagram, I'm learning, and my Jocelyn Flowers, who does this part of my business life these days, which, by the way, if you need an amazing person who helps on the social media marketing side and messaging side, Jocelyn Flowers. If you want a resource, or you want an amazing person to help you with that, let me know. Just email me, Jocelyn. Just throw my email address into the chat somewhere. People can just email me and they'll find you. I'll just connect them with you. Anyway, oh my God, sidebar, tangential moment. But stopping business as usual, right, just comes in and stops the action. Because I don't know about you, but the freight train of the thought pattern, and I mean freight train, you know how freight trains, like, it takes a long time for them to stop. And, like a freight train is going, I don't know, 50 miles an hour. And then, to stop a freight train takes 45 miles or something, they say. Probably not the best metaphor, because in this case, this freight train needed to be stopped in an instant, because this freight train of my addiction to what was not working and my complaining was palpable, right? It was just completely like, you don't understand, and then this, and then this, and this isn't working, and this isn't working, and this is not happening, and it's just one big gigantic, sort of almost like a petulant teenager, I'm in my, I don't know, late 20s or something. And as I say it now, as a 66-year-old, somewhat, dare I say, conscious human on a good day, I look back and go, oh my God, I was a mess. With grace and with compassion, you look back, doesn't mean it still doesn't happen, because the brain loves to complain, right? The brain loves to complain because it has this, the amygdala part of the brain is the fear of space, and it loves to kind of get in there and go, this isn't working, and this isn't working, and right. So I'm making this story really laboriously long. This coach kind of just stops the action and goes, okay, you need to stop, because, and he just really very gently, in a beautiful redirected way, said, so I want you to tell me what's working. Tell me what is working, because I was one big gigantic what's not working, right? And it sort of what? I could feel my, what? What do you mean what's working? I've been talking about what's not working. I was very attached to what was not working. That part of us that just gets very into it. Now, I want to make a distinction. If you're in the coaching industry and you understand the concept, sometimes the what's not working and the complaining and, life is falling apart needs expression. So let's be very clear. I'm not talking about you don't get to express one's dark shadow side, or I don't want you to turn this into, oh my God, I never get to say that stuff. But this went on for too long. And it was probably, in that month, maybe it had been 3 calls in a row, And I'll just never forget it. I mean, here I am, I don't know, 40 years later, remembering this story. When I went for a walk this morning, I went, oh yeah, what you focus on expands. And I started in the morning, I woke up and I was talking about what was not working. And I was thinking about what was not working in my life, and what was not working in my clients' lives, and what was not working in my tech life, and what was not working. I was like, oh, I'm down the rabbit hole of what's not working. And you all know, you all hang out in this space. I hang out in this space. I'm going to go a little bit quantum physics here for a second. The quantum field is this energetic field of energy, right, that floats around, and we're all swimming in it. We are of it, we are one with it. We're no separation from it. And what we put in it, it gives back. It's neutral, right? I can put in good stuff, I can put in dark stuff. Doesn't matter what I put in it just gives it back. That's the language of what we focus on expands. What I think about expands. What I talk about expands. What I preach about expands. So, this is business development too. This is the other thing. This is business conversation too. What I focus on expands in my business. If I focus on what's not working all the time, and I focus on my employees and what they're not doing, and nobody's doing enough, and everybody, like, it just spins that, right? It spins that top into this territory that's like, right? So back to I don't remember the exact moment, but all of a sudden I started to talk about what was working. And I remember vividly thinking, and it happened to me again this morning, there was equal amounts of things that were working, if not more. Of course, detail-wise, circumstance-wise, in the particles of life, like I could find the list of things that were working. And I remember thinking, oh, there's just as many things that are working that aren't. And there's probably even more things that are working than not. Right? So it's a pretty simple idea here this morning, but for yourself, for your life, for your business, for your relationships, all arenas of one's life, right? Some of you know the Wheel of Life. I'm just going to do a little, right? There's sort of 8 sections to the Wheel of Life. I'm not going to go through them right now, but basically, there's career, there's relationships, there's fun, all the different components of one's life. Inside that, of course, there's always a gap to close because there's always more. I want more of this in my relationship life. I want more of this. You can fill in the gap there all the time. There's always a question. There's always a gap to close. And a good coach comes along and pushes the conversation, guides the conversation over to what's working. Doesn't mean they don't listen to what's not working. Sometimes there's appropriateness, like the parts of my business need to be developed. There's things that I'm not doing enough of. And there's a really interesting distinction I want to play with here that's just hitting me as I talk about it. It's not just putting a pretty bow on the whole thing. There are things that I need to focus on that I'm not doing. And I can either turn that into a gigantic complaint, like, oh man, I'm not doing enough of that. I'm not doing enough of that. Instead of like just a realization of like, oh, this needs attention. This needs attention in my life. This, whether that's working out, whether that's more money in my business, whether that's more marketing, whether it's next workshop, whatever it is, there is this gap. And there's no judgment inside of that. See, I think what happens is we have to take a breath. I'm talking so fast. We wrap it in this, judgment ball of like, well, I'm not enough. And right. So the complaint is usually, I think a complaint usually comes from somehow the universe, the world isn't supporting me and things aren't going the way they should be going. Instead of like, what's my responsibility inside of this? And a good coach comes along and says, okay, this needs attention. Great. Let's focus on it. What do you need to do? How do you need to be? What do you need to think? What's the energy you need to bring to it? Because if I keep bringing this energy that it's not working, then it will just bounce back. It's not working. So that the distinguishing question is, what do I need to focus on to go to the next level versus what's not working and what's wrong, right? Which we all know is a very slippery slope of self-judgment, which is so not helpful. So feel free to write a comment in here. I think I can see some comments in here if you're on Instagram or Facebook. We're playing with it. I'm learning the technology myself, by the way. I mean, yesterday I was playing with some technology stuff and my head was popping off. It's not working. It's not working. I just had to take a breath, step back, okay, let me figure this out. Let me go look up a YouTube video because, by the way, here's the coolest thing ever in our universe. Can we just say this? anytime I watch somebody do something out in the world, social media or in using the tech, and how do they do that? There is a video that somebody has created, if not 100 videos on how to do it. And I can go look that up and it tells me in an instant. That is a remarkable gift that our world has created for us in terms of our work getting into the world and our messaging into the world. And if I just sit down and watch the video and I click on the mouse and I do the thing and I do it enough times, then I know how to do it. Rather than complaining and, how did they do it and why can't I do it and all that other shit that we do. I'm just a little swear word there, but. So there's the simple voice again this morning. And so I invite you to think about and consider in your walks today, in your thoughts today, in your being today, in your relationships today, what's working. And I'll just go down the path of relationships, right? And when you think about employees, or you think about partners, or you think about husbands and wives, or your kids, or anybody, focus on what's working. Focus on what they're doing that's working. Focus on what's going well, right? Because there's always that that part of us that goes, oh, if only they were, why don't they, right? Good morning, Martha. Yes, always helpful to be reminded of all of this, clarifies and refocuses. I know, Martha, right? I mean, I will say, I thank you for making that comment. I can easily judge myself. Here's the process this morning. I come up with this, I wake up, what's not working? And I think about the world, and I think about my business, and I think about my clients, and I think I haven't done enough, and, oh my God. And, I start to go, and then I catch it and go, take a big, deep breath. I go for walks, by the way. I love to go for walks, and I sort of be with nature and the sun. And, today it's sunny. So I'm like, okay, let me just remember, this is how this works. What you focus on expands. So the concept hit me again this morning. And then I thought, well, I have to, it's in my calendar to do this live every week. By the way, it's a consistent part of my business life, I call it my impact life, right? If you think about your business life and your work life, I throw it into this bucket of, this is part of my impact life, right? I want to have impact, right? And whether I do it through a book, whether I do it through social media, but I'm in the game of wanting more impact in the world, and will go to my grave with that. I mean, God willing, this brain and this voice still can say some things when I'm 97, right? And by the way, they've been telling me this, they've been studying, if you keep using the brain and you keep speaking and you keep doing it, then the chances of going to 97 go way up. So I'm a fan of, I got to keep using this thing. I'm going to keep having clients. I'm going to keep creating programs. I'm going to keep creating classes for the rest of my life, because it keeps me in the game. It keeps me in the flow, rather than I'm doing this to get something and then I'll be done, right? I'm not a guy that's like, well, I finally arrived, so now I'm done. There's no arrival in this game. There's just continuing to express. Oh my God, I digress. This idea of the concept, though, this morning, of what you focus on expands, and focus on what's working. Pretty simple idea. I could feel myself go, oh, everybody knows this. Why would I say this? Who cares? So Martha, thank you for your comment, because I keep learning. If it comes to me in my own mind this morning, I believe, and hang with me here on this thought, if it's in me, it needs to be said somewhere. Not everybody will relate to it. Not everybody will like it. Not everybody will need it in this particular moment. But if it's in me, okay, now I'm going quantum physics on you for a second, okay? If it's in me, then it's in the space. Because if I'm one with the space, the quantum field, right? And going on into some jargon here, the quantum field is this energy life force that lives around and in and is us, around us, and we are one with it. If I have a thought this morning that I need to say to myself, then it needs to be said. Now, don't hear that in absolutism, meaning, oh my God, every thought that I have needs to be shared into the world. Good God, you'd be bored of this guy. So, but the judgment I had of this was huge. Like, it's already been said, oh my God, all the greats have said it. Brene Brown has said it 87 times, and who am I? And, all that stuff comes in, and I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to say it. This is going to be my topic today, right? And so here I am, right? And thank you again, Martha, for commenting on it and saying, "Yay, thank you for the reminder." Because for most of it, for us, it's a reminder. However, for many people, it actually might be something new, or you heard it in a new way. And that's the part I want to leave with you today. For those of you that are in the coaching space and you're in the transformational business, and I would make up that many of you are, because if you're following me, or people like me, or Brene Brown, or Mel Robbins. She's my new favorite. I have a little bit of a girl crush on Mel Robbins. Don't tell her. If you do, tell her. If you do know her, please tell her. I think many people do. New book came out. I'm not going to go down that path. That's for another day. But the part of you that wants to get something into the world, it wants to come through you. And to trust that urge, to just trust it. Learn the technology. Don't get all twisted on it. Should it be Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn? There's a lot of great help out there on that. I get help with that when and which platform and how do I. That's all handleable. There's all kinds of great people. Jocelyn helps me with that. Go get that help if you need it. But my deal is, please share it. Please, if you have insights about the human condition and you are in that space of transformation, please be the voice of it. And I know what's going on out there is like, oh my God, it's already been said, and there's now thousands of people doing it. I don't care. If it's coming through you, it's coming through you in a brand new way, and somebody might hear it in a brand new way because you've said it in a different way or a unique way. Because even though the concept might live in the universe already, because it already has, it already does, and it will forever, you speaking it your way with your energy and your essence is the most important part to remember. If it wants to come through you, whether it's a book, right? I wrote a book called Bigger Game. They're like, here I am using this morning, using Eckhart Tolle's cards, the Stillness Speak cards, right? These cards, there's nothing on them that are new. It's just Eckhart Tolle created them, and it came through him to like, this is how I want to say it. But the concepts are universal. And I think we get caught in this, well, it's already been done and it's already been said. And oh my God, there's a million people. Why bother? It's already been done. But why you need to why bother? Because you matter, and this thing wants to come through you. This voice has to be expressed, because unexpressed wisdom, unexpressed ideas, unexpressed transformational thoughts, unexpressed recipes, when we don't express them, it actually affects our psyche, and I actually think it leads to some version of a recession in yourself. I'm not going to call it a depression, but I do so believe that unexpressed things, emotions, ideas, creativity, things that you want to say, whether it happens one-on-one in a coaching session or whether it happens in the greater ethers of the space, if you don't express it, it actually affects us personally. Because I think that the soul goes, are you kidding me? The soul sort of says to me, are you kidding me? You have something to say, and I brought you something, and you're not going to move it forward because of some bullshit perspective you're in about yourself? How dare you sort of lower the bar on me? I'm kind of speaking as the soul right now. So I think the ego gets a little freaked out. The soul says, come on, bring me into the world. So, okay, with that said, here's the little segue moment. Speaking of what you focus on expands, I'm doing a class, and Jocelyn's going to put the information here. It starts next Thursday, January 23rd. It's a 6-week class, and it's called The Abundance Path. Okay, there's going to be a link dropped in here in a minute on how to register and all that good stuff. Okay, there it is. Jocelyn is putting it it'll be in all the platforms within the next few minutes. Okay. And a number of months ago, I was turned on to this book called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. Speaking of consciousness, this truly is, I think, one of the breakthrough books on understanding the path of wealth and abundance. Many of us have been down the path of abundance. Many of us, maybe have done classes on it. I've always wanted to do a class on it to kind of go deeper and wider and broader and uncork it even more. I'm a fan. If I need to take an abundance class or be in an abundance conversation, and dare I say money conversation, at least once a year. So I've taken other people's classes because the drift, again, to the what's not working in the money space and my business space will start to grab me. So whether you choose my class or somebody else's class, or you go read a good book, I just really recommend that you focus on this abundance conversation. And we're going to talk about money a lot too, the actual physical representation in our culture, right? 6 weeks, there is a link that's being dropped in here. Just a little technology moment. The link is a bit odd looking. We had some tech crap go down. We won't go into the details, but we just thought we don't actually have time to fix it. I won't go into the details. There's just a lot going on with this tech issue. So the link looks a little weird. And for those of you that are watching this right now or are going to see this later, if you put in save 200, no space, save 200, $200 off, okay? And I think it brings it down to $297, if I remember correctly. And I just want to leave you with one thought on, based on today's talk, what you focus on expands. So we're going to focus on money. We're going to focus on the concept of abundance. We're going to focus on it. We're going to talk about it. You're going to get real with it. You're going to reveal stuff about yourself. You're going to talk about your money story. You're going to talk about your money history. We're going to cleanse some stuff. And we're also going to get really into the numbers. We're going to do a whole thing on numbers, because one of the things that I realized around the abundance money conversation is I have a great relationship with money and consciousness and big numbers, and I can be with that, and I can be with people, and I can be with who make a lot of money, but what I couldn't be with it, and I didn't do well, I don't do well with numbers. So if I don't focus on the numbers, because money is actually numbers, it needs numbers. If I didn't focus on the numbers, I wasn't aware of my business. So we're going to do some numbers stuff. So basically I wasn't good at numbers. I was good at the consciousness of money, but I also needed to focus on numbers because, money is numbers. And so if I didn't focus on the numbers and I don't want to be with the numbers, the universe kind of responded and goes, oh, okay. You don't want to focus on the numbers. So therefore the numbers aren't going up or the numbers aren't changing. So we're going to do number stuff. We're going to do consciousness stuff. We're going to do detail-y stuff. We're going to do some cleansing stuff of your past for 6 weeks. Okay, starts next week. Go check it out. There's a really great landing page. I'm very proud of the landing page that myself and my husband Chuck created for this class. Go read all about it. Each week, it breaks it down to each week's concept, and you get a sense of this, okay? So go check that out. And thanks for listening here on this Wednesday, January 15th. And I'll just leave us all with this essence of, I know it's challenging to maybe even say this in the midst of what's going on in Southern California, but things have been going on. There's been fires and there's been wars and there's been things going on the planet for forever. So we happen to have it in my backyard right now, so it's loud. But I just want to leave us all with this concept that the collective consciousness, if we were to all align that it is unfolding for our good, if it's unfolding for our good, and we really leaned into that, and it's not all good, but it's unfolding for our good, that could actually change the vibration and the conversation, because so many of us get caught in talking about what's not working. So I leave us all with this consciousness that it is all unfolding for our good. I invite you to focus on what's working in your life today and see what gets created at the end of this day. And by the way, turn that into a daily habit and watch what happens. So All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope this has been useful. Look forward to seeing you in the class. If you have any questions about it, email me, ricktamlin@me.com. Really simple. ricktamlin@me.com. I'll respond and answer any of your questions to see if it's right for you. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take care. I'm going to just do a little ending here. It takes a moment for this thing to wind.